So regarding the video where I was encouraging you to ask questions, I feel like I veered off from the topic of history and the reason that it's so important and so revealing, and also the fact that such an impactful topic was not beaten into me, or I wasn't forced to learn it. I actually read the history books long before I got into the class where we touched on the subject and had the narrated dreams. You know, I was sleeping through class, you know, the dreams were being narrated by the teacher, and it was just amazing. But by that point, I had already formed a mental picture of what happened, because I was reading I was just devouring these history books that he was teaching from, because the topic was just fascinating. And then, you know, he brought it together and he would add other facts and things. And sometimes, you know, I would wake up out of a sleep because he would say, well, here's this thing, there's another piece of history that's not in the book. And I would literally wake up and be like, really? You know, because it was just so fascinating. And I could hear what he was saying in my sleep. And I just remember that, and it was so impactful and so important in my development as a person and in my spiritual development. So I don't know if the teacher is even around, I don't know, but I'm super grateful that I wasn't punished for sleeping in his class, because I feel like that it was a huge gift for me. And I guess, you know, I want to encourage people to, you know, to take an interest in history, the history of the foundation of our country is not exactly like the history books laid it out. And you can see, like, if you read the congressional records, a lot of the things that we thought were, and now that we have the CIA records being released and declassified, we can read some of the things that aren't quite exactly like we were told. And so we can see an agenda being laid out. We can start to follow that agenda. And, you know, when you start to recognize those patterns and you see them repeating in modern times, you know, you can spot a pattern and you can protect your family. Because our government does not have our best interests in mind. The laws are written in such a way that it sounds like it's for the greater good. It is not. It has historically been to benefit a small group of people with very private interests. And their interest is not in your best interest. So, anyway, history reveals that. History shows the patterns. History shows the thought processes. And history also reveals some of the people. So there's even a story of Valiant Thor. Valiant Thor was a gentleman who worked at the White House, and he worked with some of the presidents and the secretaries, and, you know, he was in the White House with I think it was the JFK administration, and possibly, you know, even before that. He wasn't human. He was a gentleman from another planet, and I don't know the whole story. I've read the whole story, but I can't remember all the details. But just knowing that story's out there, that story of Valiant Thor, and knowing that weird stuff like that exists, and we weren't told about it. It wasn't in mainstream media. It was not something we were taught in school. You know, that should open your eyes and tell you, you know, there's a lot of things that we don't know. And so we have to keep asking questions. We have to keep asking questions about why we believe what we believe, who told us that, why would they tell us that, what would they benefit from us believing that, and, you know, how would they, you know, convince us that things happened the way that they said. There's a lot of different things, but if you can spot those patterns and identify those agendas, you can protect your family. So ask questions.